All right, we are reset. Thank you for your patience for us getting reset up here. And we'll now call our regular school board meeting to order here on Monday, October 20th. It is 7:26 now. Welcome to our regular October meeting. I'll have Dr. Hanson or Ms. Clark take roll call for us. Then I would look for approval of the consent agenda items below. A lot of these are embedded in our minutes, and they include the approval of minutes from the regular board meeting on September 15th of 2025, the closed session on September 15th of 2025, the board academy meeting that was on October 6th, 2025, the payment of bills, the employee resignations, the employee hires and contracts, the alternative open enrollment applications, the Tomah High School ESS waivers, the Tomah High School Start College Now applications, and the Tomah High School early college credit program applications. Is there anything that anybody needs taken out of the consent agenda items? If not, I would look for a motion to remove those. I have a motion by Teresa. Do I have a second? Second by Spencer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, unanimous there. All right, next week, communication to the public. A statement I need to read before we get this started. We have 3 people signed up tonight to speak. The board will now entertain public comments for up to 30 minutes. Please note that if you wish to provide public comment to the board, you must register your intention to do so upon arrival at the meeting. You must be a district resident and are requested to preface your comments by an announcement of your name, address, and group affiliation if applicable. Public comments are limited to a total of 3 minutes in length per individual. When your time is up, I will remind you that your time is over and you should conclude your remarks. Participants must direct all comments to the board and not to the staff or other participants. No person may address or question board members individually. Please note that certain subjects are not appropriate for public comment. Comments that are personally directed, abusive, obscene, irrelevant, or otherwise inappropriate are not permitted. If you make such comments, I will interrupt you and admonish you to refrain from doing so. If you persist on doing it, I will advise you that your time is over and you will not be permitted to offer any further comments. All participants are encouraged to ensure that all information offered is truthful and honest. False statements and stigmatizing charges may subject the individual making such statements to legal repercussions, included but not limited to defamation claims. In addition, please note that our board has adopted certain policies regarding district management and the roles of the board and its administration play in managing the district. Therefore, please understand that you may be referred to other district officials if it is apparent from your comments that you have not brought your concern to the attention of the right district personnel so that you can receive the assistance you need. Finally, please remember that I will be managing this public comment portion of the meeting so that we can meet the objectives that I have mentioned in this introduction. So the first person we have signed up tonight is James Newland.
Is this a spot where I say my address? All right, James Newland, 114 Daniel Drive, Camp Douglas, Wisconsin. Thank you for the opportunity to come talk to you a little bit about a few things. Man, I tell you, I was like, oh my gosh, why am I getting nervous coming this way? But it's kind of fun. But first of all, I just want to start out by saying thank you for everything you guys do. Do appreciate the work you guys are doing for our district. And I think we were celebrating that just a few days ago on Facebook. So thank you. We don't want to miss the opportunity to say that at all. The other thing is when I do come here to speak, I'm not looking at being an adversary. I'm looking at being somebody from the community that has 3 kids in our school district, and I care about the future of my kids, but also as those that are their friends and then future grandchildren and that type of thing. So just general statements and facts that I'll bring forward, and I just like you to consider hearing those out as I probably come to see you once in a while as well. So with that, I just want to talk about, we talk a lot about behavior in the classrooms, we talk about all that kinds of stuff. But one thing that I've noted, over the couple of years, and as a parent talking about it is, it's your environment, right? What is your environment entail? So our environments as parents, as kids, when we think about them, what exactly does that look like? And, today, again, I'm still planning on coming here, and I went to conferences today, which I have no complaints about any of the teachers and those things that they are doing for my kids is amazing, and they're doing really well. but I've taken pause because one of the things I want to talk to you about is their environment. I know we did not pass a referendum. I don't want to go even down that, but what I wanted to talk about is just when you walk into there, and it's not the principals, it's not just administration, it's not them that are ignoring this, but you walk in and you see the environment and you're thinking to yourself, why? And then I know you're saying right now, well, what is it? And I said, you just walk down the hallway, and it's hard for me because I don't, like in my own personal life, I wouldn't live that way. We've got panels that are missing, or they're tilted, stains on the tiles. How are we going to reinforce behavior if we're not going to work on those things? And even this room, take a look around this room, right there. Is that what we do? And I'm not. This is a huge district. It's not like any one person can accomplish everything in a day. But if you go and look at just that, let's go small when we talk about behavior. And I know there's some experts in there. The thing is go look at some of that stuff. And I encourage you to get in the schools. Lemonware, where are we at with that? Does that ever have water in it? Does that ever have moisture? What is that environment for our staff? What is that environment for our students? Like I said, I'm not going down the rabbit trail of building new and all that stuff. What I'm saying is this is your existing. What are we going to do about that? And let's start small. Ceiling tiles are small. That's a pride thing. That's something that we should be when somebody walks in our school district, whether it's a visitor, it should be like, wow, this place is unlike it is, right? Well, your students are in that, and you're expecting them to have a certain level of behavior, but we're not setting the bar. And with that, I'd like to close and say thank you, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next, Vaughn Keel.
Hello again, Vaughn Keel, 16083 Erie Road, Tomah. So anyway, I listened to the group that is in charge of the actions taken when there's misbehaving done in our children, and it appears to be making headway, but I think it has to do more. Anytime a child, any grade, is laying on the ground or in the floor, getting the tar kicked out of them, there must be immediate action taken. If the teachers can't do it, you have to call in reinforcements, whether it's another teacher or the law enforcement, because that's unacceptable. Just think if it was your child, you wouldn't put up with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Last one tonight is Ryan DeFreitas.
Good evening. My name is Ryan Freitas, 421 North Street, Tomah, Wisconsin. I didn't really come in here with a speech prepared or anything, but it's a long time coming. I would like to sing some praises to some of the teachers and staff that I've seen, because there are pockets of greatness within this district. It is absolutely amazing, some of the selfless teachers and staff that you guys have in this district. I was volunteered / voluntold to help with the middle school band students when they went to the high school, and they actually, paired up with the high school band and went out to the field and they did their song. And what I can say, it was absolutely terrifying. There was 130, I believe it was about 130 middle school students. The ratio was insane. There were band, the kids, this is their first time in the bleachers with their instruments. It was raining down, just parts for their instruments into the bleachers. Me and my daughter were fetching them water. It was absolute madness. And all that, I see this Perota there, calm as a cucumber. It was absolutely amazing, and I just want to give her the thanks for what she does. Now, I'm not saying that this is just in her. There's pockets of greatness everywhere. And I would like to say that we have to defend these teachers, these staff that are these golden sparks in the district. And we can't do that. We have to address some of these issues because we're going to lose that spark. And when we lose those sparks, the whole district is going to die. Don't want that to happen. We do have that talent. We do have that passion here. Let's not lose it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, those are the three that signed up, so that ends the public comment portion of the meeting. So next, we have, we move into reports and start with the recognition of staff and students, where we have a THS student representative to the Board of Education.
Mr. Chairman, Addie Harrells tonight from our Tomah High School Student Council. So Addie, welcome. Thank you so much for your report about things happening at Tomah High School.
So on October 4th was homecoming, and it was a really big success. There was a lot of kids that came, and the week before, our theme was Tomah's Got Game. So it was like many different like game themed ideas. Monday was pajama themed. Tuesday was class colors. Wednesday was like the class game. So for example, the sophomore class had like 100 of those. And then Thursday was the game of life. And so teachers and staff were teenagers. Freshmen were like babies. Toddlers were infants. Juniors were middle-aged, and seniors were seniors. And then throughout that, we also had the food drive going on that week, and we collected 865 pounds of food to go to the food pantry, which I find very impressive. And as well as just like the school environment, our athletics has been very good as well. Recently, we had the Dig Pink Night for women's breast cancer awareness through the volleyball team. And the JV girls raised $627 during the Miracle Minute, as well as like there was like a table outside where they were selling a lot of different like pom-poms and stuff like that, and they raised a lot of money for that as well. And many of our athletes are also just like truly succeeding. And Tegan Bailey is setting and like tying records that we've had throughout high school for cross country. And so is Andrew Lindbergh and David Shanehofer for boys cross country. Taylor Lord has reached her like 500 career kill, and Brielle Kluger, who's only a junior, has reached 500 assists and 500 digs this season. Are there any questions you guys have?
Pretty effortless, thank you. Appreciate
Nice
it.
job.
Spoke very well. Thank you for the update. Good to hear all the good things that are going on.
Hopefully next year.
All right. Next, we have a presentation of the summer pack 2025 information with Ms. Lisa Colpit, who is our Camp Douglas Oakdale TAMS principal.
So I'm excited to be here tonight to just give a few highlights about our summer program. And I know that when we put out our information, it all says summer pack, and really digging into what does pack mean. Our positive adventures creating knowledge. And our summer program is not only about the academic portion of our children's lives, but also inspiring their creativity and keeping them engaged for those months or those weeks when we are not in school. And I know that our parents really appreciate having summer for students to be as well. So just a little timeline about how we get our summer pack going in about January, I start emailing teachers saying, are you thinking about summer yet? And they're up to here and whatever's going on. And so I survey the teachers to see if anyone is interested in teaching our summer pack, you know, trying to get their brains thinking about what kinds of things do you love to do, and would you be willing to share with students. In February, I start creating that course offering booklet so that we can see what do we have to offer our students. In March, we get that information out to parents, starting with our conferences. At that time, we have parents, or we let parents know that this would be a great time for their child to come for remedial reading or remedial math. We make those recommendations at conferences. And then we have a first round of online enrollment. We close that enrollment, make some adjustments. Do we need more classes? Do we need fewer classes? And then we open it again up by the end of April. In May, we try to get all of those schedules, and at the middle school, we have as young as students going into 2nd grade, and they all get a bracelet with the classroom number on them. So they all get banded up, and we send them off with people in the hallways saying, I don't know where to go, and we help them. It's just an amazing, amazing thing to watch. But those all go home before the kids are out for the end of the school year. And then in June, when we start, we sometimes hand out more of those because they're lost. But that's okay. Some things that are new this year. Jordan Steinhoff is a new clerk that was assisting with enrollment this year. Linda Barta was here for forever, and she knew how things worked and what needed to come next. And so this year, Jordan and I were kind of hand in hand going, I'm not sure, but let's try this. So she did an amazing job. I'm excited to have her help us out for the next year. 4K and 5K, we're at Lemon Wire this year instead of at Miller. That allowed us to offer the free lunches and free breakfast in a different area, not just close to the middle school. Again, we had the 3-week courses. We separated that with a week off during the 4th of July, and then started 3 additional weeks. Students from Lemon Wire were able to attend both sessions this year, as opposed to only being able to come session 1 and then getting ready for school right away. So that was exciting. We also had some amazing new classes. Like I said earlier, it's not just about the academics, but it's about keeping them excited about coming to school. We had cupcake decorating, ceramics, paper mache, and fishing that were all new, sort of. Some of them have come back since we had COVID. So many different opportunities for students. So our enrollment for this past summer did exceed our pre-COVID numbers. Michelle Clark and I talked about this just a little bit. So we had 802 resident students. So they attended at least one class, and this also includes the strength and training class that's offered at the high school. 15 non-resident students, and these are students who attend TA's Tomah during the school year through open enrollment. About 30 teachers, 18 support staff members. Our support staff is the backbone during our summer pack program, with outside supervision in the hallways, assisting classroom teachers during the whole process. So we're very lucky that we have teachers that are excited to teach and the support staff to help as well. So we have every year, this is going to be year 4 for me, 4K and 5K classes that are at Lemon Wire, and getting ready for 5K and first grade, here we come. So they They spend time with one teacher and rotate to different classrooms and do all of the things, reading and writing and math and playing and all of those things, just to get them excited and ready to go on to school in August when it starts. At the middle school, we offer the classes for grades 1st through 8th. We have remedial classes that are offered for our middle school students who are recovering credits and for grades. So they have a special section in the middle school where they're doing their thing, and then the enrichment classes are in the rest of the middle school. So as I mentioned, we have some of the fishing, cupcake decorating, still life drawing was new this year, mindfulness and journaling. Gymnastics is always a treat. We do partner with a few community businesses, bowling at the bowling alley. We also have swim, so we were able to go to the pool. And the students have 5 or 10 minutes of some swimming skills, and then they get some free play in the pool as well. 3D printing, science fun, robotics, origami, watercolors, Spanish, outdoor activities. So these are things that, as a teacher, I always wanted to be able to do these things because they're amazing. But then we have the reading and the math, and we have to do all that as well. So this is a chance for students and teachers to do both of these during the summer. So this is the part that is kind of like learning German or Greek. These are all of the yearly comparisons in terms of minutes, FTE, all of this business type information. And we have 2025, total FTEs was 97. So that is more than 2019 when our program was probably at its peak. So this is good, this is good. And then I thank you to, families for letting us do this, the teachers, because without teachers, this can't happen. And I know that coming off of the end of the school year and Mrs. Culbert saying, come on, do you want to teach? Let's do it. And they look at me like, okay, we'll do it. Support staff, our community partners, the principals, and the middle school administration worked together to make sure that everything went smoothly. Elementary principals took different weeks, so we weren't there the entire time. Our custodians, food service, transportation, office staff, and technology. And I just want to share, look at those amazing cupcakes up there. Those were student cupcakes. And then we also have still, one of those still life drawings, which is really hard to see, but that is just a few of our highlights. So thank you.
Anybody got questions for Ms. Colfett?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for that too, because, as a reference at 20, remedial reading, math, those are crucial that will also assist the teachers so they don't have to spend as much time in that because your intervention. So I think, and for all the people involved in it.
Lisa and Michelle, a ton of time and just everyone else, so thank you both for your leadership.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have student achievement, preparing our students to succeed each year and induct your secondary education degree of choice. And under that we have the Tomah High School Honor Band, overnight and out-of-state trip requests. These include November 21st through the 22nd, 2025, the UW Milwaukee High School Honor Band in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's overnight one night. And then January 16th through the 17th of 2026, which is Wisconsin Concert Band Association Honor Band at UW Eau Claire in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, overnight, one night. And then March 1st through the 2nd of 2026 at the Dorian Honor Band at Luther College in Decorah, Iowa, overnight, one night.
Administration highly recommends approval. Mr. Knepker, the band director, says students are selected based on an audition and then have the opportunity to travel to a college campus and learn more about their instrument and win band music from in-demand conductors, applied faculty, and educators at the college level. All events culminate in an end-of-festival grand concert. 2 days, of hard work are showcased. So highly recommend approval. We appreciate you doing this over the years as well.
Oh, sorry, I was just gonna see how, did, Mr. Knopker say like how it would be funded? Is it student funded?
It's part of our budget.
Is it? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Yep. Got a motion by Rick and a second by Katie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Thank you.
doing good things. Next, we got service to the Tomah community, engaging parents and community members to increase student achievement and support for our school district. And the first thing with that, we have the acceptance of gift of money and or materials.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. From Walmart, a donation to the Elementary Student Assistance Fund of $250. From the Cranfest Cranfest folks, a donation to THS Band for their parade entry, $382. From Spirit Pump, a donation from the Simran Corporation to Tomah High School in the amount of $452.90. And from Hagelman, a donation to THS FFA in the amount of $1,250. This month, $2,334.90 to a wide range of student opportunities. Thank everyone for that.
I just would like to thank the community for their support of our schools on a continual basis.
Anyone, Simran? Oh, that's what it's.
So that one, yeah, so that one is, that's a gas station that's on the south end of town.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
has
thank
a
you.
pump, that's right, yeah.
It's the syntax.
Is
Okay.
the Cranfest donation for the THS band, was that because they won the fire station competition?
I'm not sure. They were fantastic.
I don't-
really
I just-
great, But, and I said Cranfest folks, I believe the Cranfest organizers, but I just see Cranfest artists here. So yeah, it's a tremendous deal.
I was just wondering, I know that they won it because I saw a picture of Alex, it's really weird calling him Mr. Knopker. I saw a picture of him and the fire chief, so I was just wondering if that's
It would make sense, I guess.
but it is cool that they won the, out of all of the bands that were in the Cranfest parade, they won the trophy.
That's
So what do they win? I don't even know.
Very great.
The title.
Very good.
I make a motion that we gratefully accept all of the donations.
Second.
Okay, I'm sorry, did you already do that, Teresa? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. But-
No, I said it quietly, I was waiting for
Okay.
Katie to.
That's,
Oh, sorry. I was just stop talking.
No, I was just waiting, just kind of politely.
Good to it.
yeah, okay.
Motion by Teresa, second by Heidi. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright. Okay, next we have future focus, transforming educational opportunity. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, I made a note, I'm sorry, gotta back up. We had a B underneath service to the Tomah community, which would be the joint city, school committee, member report.
Oh, good.
Thank you to Mr. Jacob, Mr. Stevens, starting that committee structure up again, and we met on October 16th. So, John, would you like to note any takeaways from our first meeting? It's very good.
Oh, I thought it was good. It was the first step. Because I forget how many years was it? I mentioned last time it was 5 years. So we needed to rejuvenate that, at least some dialogue. I mean, it wasn't, real substantive because we were trying to, pull things together. But the chief was there. They had a council member, and then Michelle Ransom. But safety was discussed. There's very much a commitment and collaboration, and the chief spoke that pretty highly of the school district and the cooperation that's there. So,
Yeah, it was extremely late, this first time, we're just trying to get it started again, we're actually gonna meet already pretty soon again, after both, budgets go through with the two entities. So, and at that meeting, we're gonna try to set up like what, kind of a little bit more of what we're envisioning and timeline, things like that. So, but like Spencer said, it was very good just to get in the same room, say we're starting this up again, and we'll, hopefully get some good things out of it.
I have a question about it. Is that a public meeting where the public can watch what's going on, not contribute to?
Yep, it was streamed. It was streamed online. You can come in. You can come in and be a part of it. It was streamed online at the time that we had it.
Okay,
We were all on camera up there, so you can see all of us that were speaking and everything. So yeah, you just gotta watch what they posted on and things.
did you discuss in any detail about safety, of what their vision is so that you?
Yeah, well, so it was really just, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it was really just our collaboration with the police department is really more or less what it had to do with. So we didn't get specifics into anything like within our buildings, things like that. It was more or less just talking about how our police station, our local police work very closely with our schools, which is not a thing in all other districts. The chief was very forward with that. Said, he talks to other school or other cities, and they don't have that great of a relationship sometimes. I worded that wrong, but anyways, he was just saying, right. And he says they have made it a point. It was there in place before he was there. He intends on keeping it going, and said so. There's just a lot of, they have presence there during all of our bigger like football and graduation, things like that. They're in our buildings during our drills. We represented that last month and things. So
more specifically, just crossing guards, we're starting that conversation. So we've got some work there because there's so few people that apply for those. City's working through their budget. We've got our assets that we can work from. So we're going to start to build out crossing guard structures over the next few months as well. Those meeting notices, like Mike said, are always posted at least 24 hours early, right. And so all open to the public and posted to know what's going on. So it's very nice meeting.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure the public knew about these meetings, so.
absolutely.
When is the next meeting?
I don't remember do you remember when this was?
November
12th?
12, somewhere in there.
And it wasn't noon, so it was a little bit different
We
than
meet at
this.
noon on those.
So it'll be November 12th at noon?
Well, wait, let me get an exact for you. Yes, November 12th, 12 o'clock at City Hall.
At City Hall, again, yep. And that was, we were gonna have another one after our budget, and I believe right after their budget, or right before their budget.
And build agendas, so we don't have anything
Correct.
going in.
Correct.
Build.
So great start. I would say slow start, but that's okay. We just need to get in the same room and start get a game plan. So very good. All right, next we have future focus, transforming education opportunities to ensure the Tomah School District remains a school district of choice for students and their families. And under that, we just have one thing to mention again, is the 2026 Wisconsin Association of School Boards Wisconsin State Education Convention that is in Milwaukee on January 21st through the 23rd of 2026.
Please let me know before November 3rd, just one more time, one final email confirmation. The hotel and the registration open for the entire state on November 3rd, so I've got that on the calendar to get rolling. So we normally have 7 of us, 2 admin, 5, but we'd love to have even. And we'll notice that meeting that you all would be at a conference, but not conducting school business. Awesome opportunities to learn more about sportsmanship and advocacy.
So Dr. Hinson, no. For Michelle, I guess no. If you are interested in going, I'm going. So thanks for keeping that on our docket. The next is workforce engagement, attract and retaining, and continuously developing highly effective employees for our team. And we have the 2025-2026 proposed meet and confer schedule of meetings for November 2025, January 2026, and March of 2026.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank Teresa and Katie for attending. We have one of these per year, a meet and confer. We have support and professional teachers. We've separated those about an hour or so for each. And in an effort to have more of our employees there, we need more of those meetings in person. So just want to offer that opportunity for those structures to talk about salary, benefits, other things on the minds of our employees. but build a little something more longitudinal and, kind of your fall, your winter, and as you get into that February or March one to get really tight with some of the things that could eventually come to the board. So Katie and Teresa, thank you. You're probably wondering, okay, is he got these set? But I'll be reaching out to you. But I just want to thank you for that additional time over the school year to reach out to our employees. It's so well received, and I will get the meeting for November. I'll be checking in with you all tomorrow, and then launching that to our employees. I want to thank Michelle too for taking part in that, because absolutely she knows the fiscals and worked with so many things too. So we just want to improve our awareness and communication opportunities and feedback sessions.
Good. Thank you for that. I'm glad to meet a few times. It'll work out great. Next, we have nothing under finance and operations particular there, and nothing under unfinished business. So we'll move into new business and take consideration and/or action on the following, beginning with consideration and possible approval request for early start of the 2026-2027 school year per Wisconsin statute 118.053. Request a waiver for the early start of the school year due to excessive costs associated with the transportation of pupils who attend private schools that start prior to September 1st.
Public schools in the state of Wisconsin are required to stay on or after September 1st, but private schools can start earlier. And one of the areas that we've seen in just visiting that we've got requests, and when they do start earlier, they can request transportation services. So I've got those requests there, and I think it's really advantageous if buses are rolling to have our students on buses to start. So I'm just proposing that the board recommend approving an opportunity to reach out to DPI with this resolution waiver for the cost. It's about $3,000 for that 5 to 7 day run, and see if DPI would approve us starting at the same time. Could be a yes or a no. The last one that we did was back in 2021 for the minutes around COVID. So if the Department of Public Instruction denies it, I'll go back and calendar committee and we'll do a September 1 start. So we'll just make some changes there. But if they say no and still happen to transport to 2026, 27, the same type of waiver could be advanced in another year and just have some more data to send. So I think it might be advantageous for us if they're traveling, we travel.
I was on the calendar committee, and just a little update on what we discussed. There were teachers that were representing all of the different schools there, so we had input from all of them. And everybody seemed to be okay with starting early and finishing up by before Memorial Day.
Yes.
Right before Memorial Day. That was probably a bigger priority for them than their early start, was finishing up early. Education is competitive anymore. 10 years ago, you didn't have so many options. You had to send your child to public education because that's all there was to offer. Now there's virtual, there's homeschooling, there's private schools, there's parochial schools, and it's competitive to have students come here. So we have to keep up with the competition, not that I want to say they're competition, but we've got to join in because it's a competitive field. And if we want to keep students in our school, we have to be on an even keel with them, for sure. That's my take on it.
If approved by the board tonight, the resolution, I'll send the required document to DPI, and once I get their action back, I'll have that at a board meeting, and then you can take action on the type of calendar that needs to be done.
If it does get passed, I mean, does this have any effect on the summer pack, or no? We will get that in that time frame.
Yeah. I do want to piggyback and say you are correct in your verbiage of competitiveness. We have to stay on top of that and keep that edge, and because I know that all the schools like to get out before the parochial schools and things get out before the late Memorial Day, excuse me.
So thank you, and again tonight the board will be voting on the fact that it is the cost of the transportation, which is why we're asking for that waiver. And if they do deny it, we'll run September 1. Parochial schools can still run early if they'd like. That's certainly up to them. But this definitely something they've asked for, and I thought advantageous to have us continue writing it down. So,
What was that cost, that $3,000? Is that the labor and the extra gas and the wear and tear altogether across the, I don't know, how many miles of school?
Wear and tear is not included in that. That's
Okay.
salary, benefits, and gas.
So if you added the wear and tear on our vehicles, on top of that, that's gonna be a much higher number because of, and so, I think that's important to, state to the public about that as well. And have that figure in there. I don't know if you can get that figure in there, of how many miles that are driven extra. If you can get that from transportation or not, so that we can, up that number for DPI so they can understand the burden, that small burden that we have, but, you know, we'll see.
an additional evidence item for them to consider. Thank you.
So it's 3,000 is what it would cost us to run
I
those?
think it was a rough cost, right?
That's the rough cost.
Okay, to run the buses before the September 1st start date. And then, so the private, so what is the driving force behind them starting then?
They always have.
They always have. But then, so like, I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. So like, they start earlier, and we've always started.
Right.
So why are we doing?
Why now?
They're requesting transportation, and then I'd like to try to put the waiver in that we could get our kids on buses too. So DPI could reject it, because we've not driven them.
How much more revenue will the Tomah school district get by starting earlier? Let's see, by,
Well, that would be, Tom's gonna correct me if I'm wrong, but it'd just be additional mileage that we're driving. But all of our kids will be on, so we could claim all of our kids were on the bus those days as opposed to just how many of our kids there are at the private schools that ride the bus.
And we've always provided them transportation to school.
They haven't asked in the past.
So they're asking for transportation. So this is what I'm trying to get at.
yeah, so this.
They're asking for transportation, but they won't change their start date.
Which they're doing everything legally. I mean, they have that right, statutory.
So
right.
is it like a legal thing that we have to provide transportation to
Yes.
the school? Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at here.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
That's where the disconnect was. Okay, so thank you, now we're good.
I'd make a
Yes,
motion
sorry.
that we extend that waiver and respond accordingly.
I'll second it.
Motion by Spencer, second by Teresa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Like it was.
You're gonna abstain, okay? Same as abstain. Okay. 6-0 and an abstain. Okay. All right, so next would be determination of the determination of the 2025-2026 tax levy pursuant to the Wisconsin statutes 120.123 ABC.
Do you want me, you have to
Yeah,
remember,
just as whenever you
refer to page
Give the
32
number,
again?
yeah.
Yeah, it's the same that we just went through. That's second to last page. Again, just a reminder, the local property tax fund 10 levy at $14,082,329, with our equalized property value at $2,609,018,788. Using those figures, our mill rate for next year would be projected at 0.00539,712. And that would equate to approximately $539.72 on a $100,000 property. And that would be on the tax bill, the school portion part of the tax bill. And last year's levy was $551.21. So that is a difference in taxes by a 2% change.
Any questions?
Can you explain further on the levy, because this one went down this year, and it went down from last year to this year. If it keeps doing that, how do we make our maintenance bills? How do we get it to just stay the same?
Well, we received more state aid this year than last year, so that's part of why it went down, because we received more. Our student population went down a little bit, so if that would have maintained the same, then our levy would be more, because our revenue limit authority would have been more, so we would have had more kids times the 11,650. Right now, it's kind of maintaining a little bit, and really that fluctuation of, 12 is, I don't know how much closer you would get to be steady, because there's so many variables in that they go into make that number. Right now, we do currently still have our operational referendum for this school year and also next school year. So the board will need to make decisions next year if they're going to maintain the asks from our community, and that would keep it roughly the same. Plus, in another year, we'll have a new state biennial budget, so I don't know what they will do. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other questions or whatever, then I would look for motion to determine the tax levy as presented by Business Manager Ms. Clark, along with the adjusted budget as presented by Ms. Clark as well.
So moved.
Good for a motion there?
Yeah.
Okay. A motion by Teresa, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Sue, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Alright, for absorbing all that. Alright, next, we have review and approval of updates to the district capital maintenance and improvement projects plan.
So each of you had a packet at your table. Every school year, you have approved the capital improvement plan. And just as a reminder, because our school district has a Fund 46, which is, in simplified terms, a savings account for major capital improvement projects. In order to ever spend that money, the costs need to be on a list that's approved by the board every year. For the last 3 years, I have presented to you a spreadsheet that is literally pages and pages and pages and pages long. And the supervisors and I met several times this year and said there has to be a better way to show major building needs than to have this list that is just a list. And so we took the template that Mr. Janicevsky presented to the board last year, kind of like building needs, and broke them out by building. And how we did it is, it's hard knowing the finances of the district and then saying, okay, where are we gonna put this $3 million cost for elementary HVAC at LaGrange Elementary? When I know there's not an extra $3 million in the budget for any of the years. So how we did this is I told the Met as we were sitting there, we need to take each item by item and we need to say to ourselves, does this have the potential, because of age, to not work by next year at this time? So that's how we put things on the list. The the major big things. We also have tried over the last 3 years to have a rotation list of like seal coating our parking lots so that we don't come to a year and we really should do something in 5 of our parking lots, but there's just no financial way we can do that. So the last 3 years, we've started to kind of do a rotation of those. So you'll see that on the list of the places, or of the places that we haven't done that yet. At our building study, you know, a lot of the things they looked at were things like windows and outside doors and things like that. So we looked at each building and said, really, where are we here with this? And that's why you'll see, you know, some of our larger buildings that have multiple doors, we try to break out by a couple of years worth because they're very expensive. They're $20,000, $30,000. Said that right? 2,500. It's on here. So it's like, for example, if you look at Robert Cooper, it says 4 outside doors, $100,000. They're $25,000. So you do have to keep in mind that they are not your door you buy in your house, and they also have the box system and all of that. So that's kind of how this was developed based on a list that we had, but then really a driving force was this is so much more understandable and visually understandable. So I thank Joe for originally kind of laying things out that way. That's how things got.
I have a question about the figures. Are they estimates
There are best.
or are they actual numbers of this year, or because are they just a guess?
Depends. So for example, we replaced a couple elementary gym floors in the last year or two. So we took that current number and where we had an elementary floor, we put that number. Now we know in 5 years, the number we paid last year is not gonna be the same.
Right.
But it's our best guesstimate at the present time. We've had to do some HVAC maintenance in some of our buildings because to date, it's not working. So we have rough costs like that of how much it costs for one unit in this building. And Joe is very well aware of what kind of models are in all of our buildings and things like that. So are they to the dollar and to the penny? Absolutely not. But we used the best knowledge that we had with the number. And we know that even the ones we, like I said, knew last year or this year, they're not gonna be that number in 3 years. They're gonna be a little bit more, but we couldn't account for that.
So each place you have fire suppression, sometimes it's 750, sometimes it's only 4,000. So what is it? $750,000 versus 4,000, that's lemon wire versus Miller, and they're comparable and about the same size, so I'm not understanding the difference.
Well, the buildings are constructed at different times, are made of different materials, so some of that is into like effect. Joe helped me with the special kind of ceiling that a couple of our schools have. Thank you, that you really can't remove and replace what they already have, where this kind of ceiling would be different in this type of building than in a building that was built some other time. So it's based on the square footage of the building and the materials in the building.
So even with the fire suppression, you're saying that as well?
Yep. And again, these are, I would not write a check for the district for any of these right now because, like I said, these are the best we can do.
Well, and right, and that's what I was gonna reiterate was, we don't need to go through this line by line.
No.
It's just the plan right now that, that all these would be approved at different levels, obviously, as we get there, right? It just needs to, you need to come up with a future focused plan all the time.
And I have to say, this is a much better format, and I do appreciate the way that it is presented now than it was presented. So it's very, very helpful with the breakout of how you took the time and the energy to do it this way versus the other way. It's a lot clearer to me.
And just to add to Mr. Geneva's thing, because everything he said was 100% accurate. If it's not on this list, we can't use Fund 46 monies either. So that's why we try to make sure, okay, every building, if something goes wrong, make sure there's something on every building, so that we have to, we can use that fund.
Just, just a comment I'm going to make. We kind of have a finite pot of money to work from for construction. When you're spreading that all out around 13 buildings, it gets pretty thin for some of those, so it's something to keep in mind. We've got a lot of aging buildings and really a lot of buildings that we're trying to maintain from the same pot of money. And those maintenance costs, even if we can try to stay on top of them, aren't going to get smaller.
I agree.
And I think what's important, though, we have been talking about it, obviously we're talking about it in a different direction, but we're here now. And it's time we do something. We do have a construction budget, but these things are, you still have to do all those things that are on the upkeep and maintenance. We have to give Joe an opportunity to get a bid, so let's get something so we have an idea of what the actual cost is. And then I think it's up to us to prioritize. That's the tough one. But I think we have to prioritize and use Joe's expertise in that whole deal, because somebody's going to be offended. Well, what about doing nothing? Is not an option right now. We're going to pay a lot more if we don't do something.
And I can add to that just a little bit, Spencer, that like, we could not make a list of 1 through 20 of what needs to be done, because there are things that literally are priority number 1 in many of our buildings that we literally are waiting for them to respond to work. And if there's a board member that doesn't agree with that, they should speak up now about that.
I think it's the same thing that I said during the facilities meeting, is if we did pass a referendum last year, we wouldn't have had a new school building built for 3 to 4 years. So if we have emergency repairs that need to be done now, then we should focus on getting those repairs done now, comparatively to continuing to kick the can down the road. Absolutely.
So, can I ask for some clarification? What I'm hearing from from Spencer and Heidi is that and in my opinion, we need to think about doing some sort of referendum so we can get some of those critical things done, but not to a huge extent. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Not quite.
Okay.
I guess what I'm saying is, we know what we have, we know what's available, we know what's on the 10-year capital list of paper, and we need to do something. Joe, Michelle, and others have put together at least something to give us an idea of where we can start. Those are some dollars. They may not be real yet, but we won't know those unless we make a decision as to which item or items we want to pursue. And that will then give Joe an opportunity to seek that, and we'll have a real number, which then the next step would be to say, okay, we approve it. So I guess in my mind's eye, I'm thinking, okay, if we went through and we said the top 3, I don't care, we're gonna have disagreement, but disagreement and stalling out for 2 years probably isn't a good idea.
Right.
It's gonna hurt either way, but I just assume we plan to hurt, than
Plan
not.
to hurt is easier.
Well, I think we can prepare for it a little differently, because we do have funds that are in that.
That's actually a good clarification. Out of Fund 46, how much funds are actually usable like today versus all of the funds that's in it? We don't have anything that is sitting there for 5 years.
So they're all available, right?
Once the fund has to be created for 5 years, and then after that 5 years, anything's in it for use, not every year.
we also have to remember that Michelle had commented that a lot of the elementaries got the HVAC all at the same time, which means chances are we're gonna have some buildings that are gonna get into some severe no air conditioning if we don't get some things going here to try to alleviate that. And that's, I mean, trying to teach kids without air today.
Right. And I think Joe had referenced that in our facilities meeting, that if you take care of one building, some of those are interchangeable. At least you will have something that could at least get us by or get us through, like you're saying, so they're not, but it would not require the full, I think, general estimate is 3 million or something. But we have to do something. I'm not suggesting that be, you know, where it's at on the priority list. I think that's for we as a board to discuss, and let's get off the dime.
So tonight we can just, tonight we're looking at just approving basically the plan, the long-term plan, but we do need to figure out a meeting sometime in the very near future where we're headed with different ideas, you know, and things. So we need to talk about it, big picture, almost building by building to a certain degree.
Do we? I mean, how many times do we want to go through it?
Right, so like that, let's have an action item.
Yeah.
We
yeah,
need
that's
to
it.
have this done at this meeting
That's what I think.
to determine, like, so let's have.
That's-
Yes, exactly. So let's figure out right now a meeting that we're gonna review this at, not review this at, but like, right. But I mean, like, let's figure that out tonight, right now.
The meeting time.
Yes.
Yeah. And that was,
And
that was where I was headed, right?
what we're gonna do at that meeting, if that
Well,
makes
I see. I'm not necessarily in agreement with that, because we'll do that and we'll run through. We have to give Joe an opportunity, and I think nothing says whatever he comes back with, that then can be in the next meeting and say, this is what we're gonna do, 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, whatever. Joe can come back and help in all of that, because he's gonna have to get some real deal. We're guesstimates. We have guesstimates. It might be 5 million. You don't know.
So are you saying that the next meeting,
I'm saying this meeting, we haven't left this one yet. I'm just saying, we can go through this list on the capital maintenance and improvement summary, okay? And look at those schools and then go back in to index those schools as to which items, and let's pull a trigger.
so, sorry, I'm just trying to
That's
like
not
make
an action item for tonight.
Just to say, I don't
Because
think we
they're,
can.
they
I
don't
don't
have
think
to go
we
in
can.
there.
That's what I was saying, we need to be an agenda
So,
item that we
so
can-
that's what I'm asking, so Spencer, I like your idea, so can we set a date of either we're gonna do a special
what I
board
wanted to do,
meeting, right? But then to Spencer's thing, we're coming and we're picking the top 3 things and we're moving forward with that. Does that work?
Prior for you saying that, I just have to add I think the first decision the Board of Education needs to make is that in 10 years, do you see 13 buildings? Because that should make a decision on where you're gonna put your money this year.
And I guess that's what I was saying, we need to look at it from a building to building standpoint.
I mean, there's no good option, let's be real, like, there's just, unless someone wants to donate like $100 million, then like really,
177.
So-
yeah. I mean, let's be real, $1 billion would be
So
nice.
maybe we should all keep in the timeline too of an operational referendum is going to be needed.
Right,
You need both an operational.
Operational.
capital referendum.
You can do improvements with a comprehensive operational referendum without doing new construction to buildings and so forth.
So that's where we need to have
So-
something where we can figure this out.
Are you saying to have a higher operational referendum instead of the 2.5 million continuation, have a 3.5 million so that we can roll over that money to? Is that, I don't know, I think.
I think we're getting into discussion that's not on the agenda,
Okay,
but needs to be in a future agenda.
And that's what I was
Yeah.
saying, that's what I was getting at, was we can't do.
Okay, so then
we
let's
can't do
pick a
lot of that
date,
tonight,
can we
right.
please pick a date, like that, let's do that.
can we have this in a separate special meeting
That's
so
what I was
that,
saying.
okay.
That's where I was headed. That's
So
what I was
just say it, Mike,
I
just
was
say
trying
it,
to-
let's say it.
That's what I was trying to say, right, was exactly that. So
tomorrow night.
How, so what is today's the,
Can we do the action item first, please? Because that's really what we're
We have to
supposed to be
accept
doing.
this?
This has to be accepted,
Okay.
the
It's a
10-year
10-year
plan.
plan.
That's
It's
the
nothing
action.
right, I agree, yeah, okay, we can do that.
Not on the plan again.
Right.
I will make a motion to accept the 10-year plan. Or, wait a minute.
Yes. Yes, you're good.
Okay.
So Teresa,
Sue.
Sue? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so you can just set a time, correct? I mean, just set a meeting, like you say we're gonna do it at Academy? Or is it a special meeting, or?
You, got some academy presentations already set up, that's your time, so, those are meetings welcome to the public, so board academies, absolutely.
I'm gonna say let's do it. I personally think we should do a special meeting. I do too. Because I think it's gonna take too long to do
Go
at a
between
board
the board
meeting.
academy and the board meeting, I don't go. I don't know what's going to be anywhere in this.
I'm okay doing a special board meeting. I just need to know in advance, like, people change my.
I'll float a date for a special board meeting, just coordinate something so you have some more time, so why don't I do that, and, I'll set that date for a special board meeting I'll present the, action item, or the discussion item, build out the language. So target exactly what, got some good ideas from the conversation tonight.
So we'd be looking at first couple weeks of November, or?
Active facilities, get to know the park out, that's a great idea.
When's facilities meeting?
Second Monday.
The 10th. So we're basically, if you wanna look out, next week we have off. And then the third would be academy, the 10th would be facilities, and the 17th would be regular.
So let's do it in between the facilities and the regular.
Okay, all right, look at calendars, and sometime between the, like, 4th and 14th.
Yeah. I'm looking at the 11th. I'll float something around that week.
Don't put it on a, holiday. The federal holiday is the 11th.
I am going to say this, so the 17th is the regular and the 13th would work the best for me. I'm just gonna put that out there. If that works. Okay, that's fine. I can make anything work, just tell me. Wednesday.
Thursday is Tuesday the 11th.
Wednesday the 12th.
What about the 10th after board facilities at 7?
Thought about that too, but I think are you comfortable doing that, like, basically right afterwards?
Because I won't be preparing anything for the board, it will just be, unless you think I'll be preparing something.
No.
I think that would work.
I'll start kind of like 6:30. I mean, meetings don't last too long. 6:30.
And we'll do both here.
We can do that. Yeah, we meet here instead of the district office.
Yeah, instead of this.
So 6:30.
Sounds good. Thank you for excellent.
The 10th.
Feedback.
Yeah, okay. So we'll do facilities here at 6. I'm sorry, at 5. And then follow up at 6:30 with the full board. And then you're just going to, it'll be an action item, something worded along with facility planning. Okay.
I'm not trying to be partial, but I think if we keep procrastinating, we'll have something that can, like,
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. It's just we can't do it
So
tonight.
let's have an
we're
action
good.
item that night.
That's good.
All right. Okay, so next is the annual review. There is no action on this of the American Indian and Alaskan Native policies and procedures required by the impact aid for policy 2110.01, relations with American Indian and Alaskan Native community. And then 2260.03, American Indian and Alaskan Native policies and procedures. And 9210.10, I'm sorry, 0.01, American Indian Alaskan Native Parent Committee.
There's no changes to that. I checked in with Bonnie Bird with those, and I had no changes from Viola on those. So this is our annual review of those, and we're proud and honored to serve many tribal students here within the Tomah Area School District. We do a lot of Title VI work. We have the strength of tutors coming from the Ho-Chunk Tribal Education Office to work with students as well. So we value and honor that special relationship we've had over the years. On a side note, because it does reference impact aid, many of the impact aid officials have lost their jobs, so we are unaware of payment this year, whether that's coming or not.
Okay. Comments, questions? Okay. There's no action on that. That was just a presentation. That's all embedded for everybody if they haven't already to absorb. So then we have next, we have the second reading and consideration for approval of the following policies. Policy 0100, definitions. Policy 0144.5, board member behavior, communications, and code of conduct. Policy 0166.1, consent agenda. Policy 1461, unrequested leaves of absence / fitness for duty. Policy 2522, instructional materials centers. Policy 5112, entrance age. Policy 5464, early graduation. Policy 5505, academic honesty. Policy 5505.01, activities code. Policy 5530, student use or possession of intoxicants, drugs, or paraphernalia. Policy 8510, wellness. Policy 8540, vending machines. Policy 8550, competitive food sales.
For a separate vote.
I move to approve the policies listed under item 7E for second reading and consideration, excluding policy 011 or 0144.5, board member behavior, communications, and code of conduct to allow for further discussion and review.
Okay.
Can we take out 010002?
I'll amend my,
Can you?
absolutely.
Which was the second one?
0100, the definitions.
Okay, definitions, okay. So I have a motion on the floor to approve all the policies other than policy 0100 definitions and policy 0144.5 board member behavior, communications, and code of conduct. Do I have a second? Okay, so I have a motion by Heidi, I have a second by Teresa for that. All those in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so those are all out. Let's start with policy 0100 definitions.
So with the personal communications devices, I did bring this up last time. I reviewed the policy 5136 that it refers to. The change is to put in smartwatches and wearable technology. I think that we're gonna have a lot of issues with that with the way that the policy is worded, because what the policy says is that it has to be powered off and out of sight. Well, if someone's wearing a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or something, I just think asking them to, you can't really put it out of sight. So I think we're just gonna have issues. So I personally think that we should just leave that out and just leave the personal communication devices with the computers, laptops, tablets, e-readers, cellular, mobile phones, smartphones.
I disagree, because I think the smartwatches fall into that category, because you can text with them and receive texts on them. A Fitbit you cannot. You read the rest of the explanation, wearable technology and or other web-enabled devices. A Fitbit isn't a web-enabled device where you can communicate with someone, is it?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, it
With a
is.
Fitbit, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think you're gonna have a lot of issues with, I mean, it's hard enough for kids to have to put their phones away, heaven forbid. But I think when we get into wearing watches and stuff, I mean, like if you text on your watch, one, it's really hard to text on the watch. I don't know if you guys have ever done it. And two, there's no way to hide that.
Yeah.
Like you can hide a cell phone, but you can't hide texting on a watch.
I think every classroom has a wall clock. But
Not
I mean,
all
I'm
of
just
them
saying-
work.
But that's not, like, it's not just that part. Like like there's other things, like it tracks like heartbeat, or it tracks like, there's all kinds of different things that it tracks, and I think that teachers can see if a kid is texting on a smartwatch. Like, it's hard, because this keyboard is like this little. So I just think that personally, it should not include those smartwatches and wearable technology. I do think that they need to be silenced. I don't know how that would work into the policy. I do think that they have to be silenced, and they shouldn't be used other than tracking whatever it needs to track for health reasons. But that's what I think.
I think, going along with, Ms. Rice's comment, that section needs to have more clarification and, not necessarily definition, but more clarification and succinctness of what we're expecting. So it's not vague to the parents and it's not vague to the students, and the teachers don't have to fight with the students. If we allow the smartwatches, if we don't allow the smartwatches, then the teachers have one more fight, and they're focusing on that versus the academics. And it's just one more thing that's very difficult for them to have to deal with. And so I think we need to take, for right now, until we can rewrite that a little bit better and more succinctly fit our needs for our school district, is to take those words out. I don't mind the changes of the parent, including foreign exchange student, that can be left, but those smartwatch wearable technology needs to be taken out and left out until we can clarify further of what we want and what is going to be more accessible.
And I'm not saying like full, like, there can be another policy that's specific to smartwatches, but I don't think you can put them in the same category as like a phone. I think it has to be put in a different category.
I move to table policy 0100 and policy 0144.5 and refer them back to committee for further discussion and review.
Back to the policy committee.
Yes.
Okay, I have a motion to move 01 to table 0100 definitions and policy 0144.5 board member behavior, communications, and code of conduct back to the policy committee for further discussion and amendments. Second motion by Heidi, second by Katie. All those in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed? Okay, does that work? Okay. Thank you. Now we have the first reading, so no action tonight, on policy 8420, school safety and reporting of crime statistics, and policy 8500, competitive food sales, policy 8531, free and reduced meals, policy 9151, use of cameras and other recording devices in the locker rooms.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Policy Committee, first one, 8240, that is state statute, and I work with the high school team. These are just high school statistics, crime reports there. So you see all of those throughout the school year that may or may not be referred to criminal court, etc. So we'll work with our law enforcement partners and DAs and others. So it's a policy that's required of all school districts in the state, and so I submit a form with how many were adjudicated in the courts. So recommend taking that. Food services, Jess Bender, our food service director, recommends the updated language that we have there. We do participate in the farm school program, and the others that include where there's a medical food issue. Although the information may not be immediately placed on an IEP, he's aware, his team is aware at any given school that a student has some medical issues that require some food adjustment. They can enact that. They have something to work with, and then go forward on other medical documentation coming in. So he's perfectly fine, and it's a practice, rare, but certainly something that he and his team are professionals with and conduct professionally in their current work. And let's see, it's 8531. You'll see some basic changes in terms of particles or conjunctions, things such as that. And then also 9151. This just focuses on local media in locker rooms, and no one's supposed to be in there with medias, not to be in there with videos. We have already signage near our locker rooms and our bathrooms that say as such, but this is tailored directly to no member of the media is allowed in the locker room before, during, or after any athletic event. So that's first reading.
Questions, comments, discussion on any of those tonight? Otherwise, it is, like I said, just the first one tonight.
So, wait a minute, do we make a motion and ask the second?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we did that right away, before we pull this as well. Anything on these? Going thrice? Alright. All we got left is upcoming events and activities that are embedded. Add to that November 10th meeting. Alright, so those are embedded for all of us. That is it for that. So now we are looking at a contemplated closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.851C to discuss and potentially take action regarding the compensation of a teacher. Do I have a motion to go to closed?
So
Motion by Heidi, and we will take roll call.
yes.
I almost said it too, don't worry.
Yes.
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 Okay, we will be in closed as soon as we can clear the room. Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.